What is up, everyone? Welcome to round 2 of the Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons March 2024 tournament. We got a couple of really cool decks. I feel like I should know because, not to ruin the surprise, one of them is me. So without further ado, let's dive in. First up, we have, I think, our very first elf deck on camera, run by Curran, aka Testacular, on MTGO and Twitter. Curran is a well-known elves player and recently has gotten into pre-modern, so it's no surprise that he gravitated towards his favorite deck type. This is actually based on Andrea Mangucci's list, and it might actually be a 1-for-1, but overall a really solid list. Doesn't have Anger or a Mountain in the main or even in the side. It is purely just a value deck, getting those hermits down, making those squirrels, and swinging in for lots of value. The Masticores, I think 2 is unusual for a normal elves list, but in this one where you really need something to do with all that mana, it makes a lot of sense. Other than that, it's a pretty standard elf ball list, so without further ado, let's see what he's playing against. Next up, as I kind of gave away in the intro, is me. I am playing this Sui Black with a bit of spice. I'm running 4 Hatreds. Hatred is a 5 mana instant. Pay X life, target creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn. The idea being with this list is if you can get a alpha strike in before your opponent has much of a board presence or a way to block, you can potentially run away with the game. Now 5 mana may seem like a lot, but I am running 4 Dark Rituals and 3 Lake of the Deads. Lake of the Dead, if you don't know, is from Alliances, and when it comes into play, sacrifice a swamp or bury Lake of the Dead. You tap it for a black, so not that great so far. You're not getting a mana advantage for that swamp you sacrificed. However, you can also tap it and sack a swamp to add 4 mana to your mana pool. So it doesn't say untap swamp. So the trick here is on turn 3, you play out a Lake of the Dead, you float the mana from the swamp, then tap Lake of the Dead, sacking another swamp, and now you have 6 mana floating, so a little bit extra, and you cast Hatred on a creature, swing in for the win. Obviously that is super fragile and really easy to interact with, so the deck is also running 4 Duresses and 4 Unmasks main to dodge those lightning bolts or Swords to Plowshares or anything that could interrupt the combo win. Overall though, super low to the ground, super aggro list with a bit of a unique finish, so let's see how it does. All right, here we go. Curran is on the left and I am going to be on the right here. So this is going to be an interesting match because both decks are pretty quick, and really I'm going to be relying on my low to the ground unblockable creatures, but we're going to start off with a Carnophage and pass. Ooh, I also want to note here that even though the list I showed at the beginning of this video was a complete deck, Curran, at the time of filming this, did not have the complete deck and actually has a lot of black and white printouts. This is totally acceptable. Our play group and our tournament allows 100% proxies as long as you cannot tell what is proxy and what is not. When you're shuffling your deck, that's all that really matters. Okay, so we're going to Dark Ritual here into an Unmask. I don't think I got a lot in hand. If I'm hard casting an Unmask, I mean, I can hit the Priest of Titania, leaving him with just a bunch of mana dorks. So that's not too bad. He doesn't have a lot of action in hand, just through a Wall of Roots, which actually is a problem for my Carnophage currently. Alright, but it's just going to play out another mana dork. And yeah, I'm a little worried that my hand that I kept was not super great. I don't think I knew what he was on. Nope, we're just going to play out all the mana dorks and get in for 1. Okay. Taking a point off the Carnophage. I have that little die on top because, well, it helps me not forget triggers. And we're just going to be swinging in. Take 2. And here's a Sarcomancy. So, not a super great, not explosive start for me. And Curran has all the mana in the world. He just needs to draw something to do with it. And hopefully I remember to take a point. I think I did. Alright, swinging with everything. Still not blocking. I'm just trying to get him down low enough where I can cast a Hatred. I think I might actually have a Hatred hand. I think I might have caught a glimpse of that, so trying to get up to 5 mana. No, actually I don't. We're Tainted Packing. One thing I forgot in the deck tech is Tainted Pact. This is a way to help find the Hatred piece. I ended up not particularly liking this when I was playing through it in the tournament, and I ended up taking it out. Mostly because if you hit a swamp like this, that's not great. Because then, yeah, there's so many swamps in the deck. I think there's 18. It all just gets exiled. So I probably should have taken the Skittering Scourge. The Phyrexian Negator was not great in this matchup. But the Skittering Scourge would have helped push damage through, and that was definitely a bit of a mistake for me. Alright. Remembering to take damage off the Carnophage, and then swinging in. Second main. Hit. Oh, squeeze not gonna help. Hit the wall roots. Alright, so I'm not drawing my creatures. Kern is not drawing any action. I think he just drew a second Cradle. So he's got a Squee and a Cradle. No way to cast the Squee. Which actually would be not that terrible on this board. A repetitive blocker that you can bring back, a recursive blocker you can bring back is not bad. Is that another swamp that I drew? I think it is. Alright, so we're just trading back and forth here. 4 for 4, but I am taking 1 every turn, so I am currently winning this race. And if I had actually gotten the Skittering Scourge, like I should have done, I would have been in a much better position here. But no, we're going to 5. And then 1 off of the Carnophage. And still not finding any action. I think I got Duress. I know what he has in hand, other than, well, I know what one of his cards are in hand. Duress not good in this matchup either. I think the only thing I can hit is, well, the survivals. And chances of hitting it this late in the game is not great. I'm thinking through here, I can't swing in with my team. He can just chump block 1, and then I take 4 on the crackback and then die to the Carnophage, so unfortunately having to pass here. Oof. Alright, we're getting a little bit of card draw here with the Multani. Gets another elf. And no reason not to swing in, right? Push some damage through. I'm already on a clock. And put me on a much shorter clock. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to do. Alright, well, I can get some profitable chump blocks here. But I'm down to 2. And honestly, there's not much that saves me here. I think Kern's just got it. I'm just thinking if there's any outs. I don't actually know. Ooh, somebody whacked the camera there. Nope, we're gonna scoop it up and go to game number 2. All right, breaking my bad habit of just tapping during these tournaments. It's pretty casual here. I don't ever think anyone would actually cheat at a pre-modern tournament. I don't know why you would. And let's see what people got in hand. Kern's got at least 2 Cradles, a bunch of 4. It looks like a lot of lands, but he's going to keep. All right, I'm going to start off with the Sarcomancy and pass. All right, he does have not a Mana Dork, surprisingly. Not really sure what he has in hand, but I do want to draw your attention here to thinking about doing something. I do have at least 1 Dark Ritual in hand. Nope, we're just going to swing in. No blocks? Okay, well. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Hatred. Buff for 18. Take 20. And that is good. That is a turn 2 kill, everybody. I got that on camera. We're going to game number 3. All right. I am glad that got caught on camera because that is the only turn 2 kill I have ever done with this deck. Not that I played it a ton, but that was still really fun. And I think we're both keeping 7. Kern's going to start it off. Notably not a Mana Dork. And I'm just going to play out another Carnophage. Alright. There we go. There's a mana dork. Get a cradle. Tap it for all the mana. Play a Wall of Blossoms. I do think this elf deck is a pretty good matchup against the mono black aggro deck, especially if you never see any of your unblockable shadow creatures. Just having Wall of Blossoms and Wall of Roots be such good blockers against the 2/2s in this deck makes a lot of sense. We're just gonna do a little hatred check. Current, of course, gonna block, not wanting to potentially get blown out again on turn 2. This swing was more for fun than anything. I don't think I actually should have made it. I think I was just being funny, and I think we take the Wall Roots here, honestly. Like I was saying, that is a really tough blocker to get by, and Kern does not need to use its mana. He already has so much mana available. Plus the Priest, I mean, yes, it will generate even more mana advantage, but with all those creatures and the Cradle, it makes sense. And this is why I shouldn't have swung in, because now he's free to swing in for a free 2 points. And I still can't make a profitable attack currently. Right, take a point. Hey. Now that makes even more sense why I would hit the Wall Roots instead of the Priest, because I had an Engineer Plague in hand. Alright, playing out the Multani, getting the ETB. It does die, but he still does get to draw a card. And a Wirewood Symbiote hits the field. Take a point of damage. Drop to 14. Now, notably, that 2 points of early damage that I took that I didn't necessarily need to take is going to be kind of relevant, because we're going to play a Phyrexian Obliterator. And I believe I saw a Leg of the Dead and Hatred in hand. So if I had kept up that and not been so cute, we would be at 15 right now. It's not quite lethal with Hatred. That Counterphage actually is being a bit more problematic than anything. Okay, we're gonna float a black, play out the Lake of the Dead, and move to combat. Swing in. Alright, makes sense to block there. Obliterator is gonna hit for 5, but I think I'm gonna think through here if I should Hatred for some amount. It honestly doesn't make sense to, but just kind of thinking through my lines. Again, I would be at 15, so I couldn't Hatred for lethal with the Negator just being a 5/5. But we'll at least do a little bit of catch up here, and if he doesn't block the Negator again, which I telegraphed pretty heavily that he should next time. Ooh, we're getting a Deranged Hermit. It does die, but he gets a bunch of squirrels, which is a bunch of problems. Each one of those represents 1 permanent for the Negator. And I actually remember this moment, and this is where I made probably the biggest mistake I've ever made, especially on camera. I do not know what I was thinking, but we'll watch it together. I swing in with 5 1/1s blocking the Negator, which means I have to sacrifice 5 permanents, not including, the Negator. How many permanents do I have on the field right now? Yeah. This was a really dumb move. And I later thought back on it, and I have no idea what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe he'd block with 1, maybe 2. Not all of them. But why wouldn't he block with all of them? Alright, we're gonna Ritual here for a Hatred, because I realize how badly I screwed up. I think I'm talking here right about how much I screwed up. How much life do I want to use here? Because honestly, I don't even think I should cast this. Am I just going to do the full 5? I am. Alright, I'm just going to buff Negator 5. So you still take 5. Everything dies. And I have to sack 5 permanents. And I think this is mistake number 2. Do I keep the Lake of the Dead? I think I do keep the Lake of the Dead. Honestly, I should have saved the Hatred and the Dark Ritual because I was losing so many points. At this point, I had just punted the game. And I kind of realized it. So, yes, I have 1 Lake in hand. He can play out his Elves. I have 1 card in hand, sorry. Which I think is another Hatred, which might be why I kept it up. But now I'm taking points, and I need another land for something to happen. I think that is another Dark Ritual. Yes, okay, but I get a Shadow creature out. Not going to be enough currently. Racing, I am going to lose. I can't block with a Shadow creature. Go to 4. 2-turn clock. Might as well swing in. Take 2. And there's a Carfish, which can block, but I still take a point of damage. So, still, at the very least, a 2-turn clock. Ooh, and there's a Deranged Hermit. That is not good. Out come the squirrels, or the bugs. Take your pick. Take 1. I kind of need a miracle here, and it's not really in the deck. Alright, so I might as well swing in. Realizing that I'm just dead. I don't think I have an out here. I take a point, and there's no way for me to make enough blockers. Yeah, there's a Tainted Pact. I can't cast that. We're just swinging in for everything. We're going to go out in Blaze of Glory. I think that's my reasoning here. Going to die to all the damage. Oh, he did double block, so that was nice. But, yep, that's just going to be game, and that will do it. Kern will take down the match. Congrats, dude. Those were some really fun games. Of course, I'm going to focus on my game 2, but solid games overall. That deck is super sweet, and I'm excited to see you at more of these Premodern events. This is only round 2. I believe there are 7 rounds for this month's tournament, so make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. There's a bunch of sweet decks in this month's tournament, and if you have already done all that and you want to help out the channel a little bit more, there is a Patreon. Link is below. That's just more of a tip jar if you appreciate what I've been doing and want to support in ways other than just letting every other Magic player in the world know how awesome Premodern is. Alright guys, that'll do it. I'll see you next time.